kind of in the situation where you're a Republican, you want to vote Republican, so you kind of have to go with Trump. Does these latest allegations kind of sway you at all into going for an independent candidate? Because I really know you will not vote for Hillary. I'm pretty sure that you would never jump that ship.
Yeah, I would never vote for Hillary. If that were my only option, I'd write in some Homer Simpson or something. But I don't know. The latest allegations with Trump aren't something that really faze me all that much. I mean, there's new allegations of him sexually assaulting a woman on an airplane or this, that, and the other, which to me, I'm not really buying. Now, granted, I know what he said in the other interview, but to me, that doesn't even offend me. Of somebody who's married with 2 kids, I can find, I know how some people would find that offensive, but to me, have I talked like that? Yeah. So it is what it is. I mean, and any guy out there that's, oh my God, I would never say something like that, they're full of shit, because the vast majority of them have. And they know what they're talking about.
I think the people that take up such the moral high ground position are people that don't want to admit that they do talk like that. I mean, even though we have different viewpoints on a lot of things, we both will talk like that when we're together as friends because we're not worried about being censored or being judged by people on outside of the conversation. What we say in private between you, me, and our friends has no bearing on anyone else's life.
No.
Even though Trump is a public figure, taking what he said in a private conversation on a hot mic, I've been hot mic before, I know what it is, but that conversation is not for the public. I
can
still
only
kind of
imagine
think
if
he's
I
a
ever got hot
scumbag, but I don't think you should. He's being vilified more than I think he would be if he were just an average Joe.
Yeah. Well, like I said, and I've said in the past, Donald Trump's been in the spotlight my entire life. Your entire life, well before we were born, even thought of. And there's a lot of things that are coming out about him now. Where were these things 30 years ago if he's such this bad person? So if some lady says that Donald Trump sexually assaulted her on an airplane, 10, 15, 20 years ago, it's not like Donald Trump was a nobody then and all of a sudden he's somebody now. Donald Trump's been a known billionaire for years and years and years. And I would think some of this stuff would start coming out beforehand, not 1 month before the presidential election. Where were any of these stories last year at this time?
Right.
Or 4 years ago at this time when he had talked about running in the past? Oh, there's nothing there. But, we're getting closer and closer to an election that, seemingly he could win. Do I think he's going to win? No. But, he seemingly could win this election. He's got a lot of support from people, but I just don't see it as something that's going to be, he's not going to be able to beat the machine,
right?
So to say. But
I think that's what the draw is for a lot of people, that he is not the typical politician. As far as what you said about people coming out now, I can understand that some people that have suffered assault will not come out until they feel safe to do so. That doesn't mean I'm going to validate what they're saying. He has to have his day in court before he is guilty. That's what a lot of people in the media just seem to forget. They want to, and on Twitter, social media, all the stuff like that, they're going to say, well, obviously because he acts like a scumbag, he must be a scumbag and must be guilty of anything negative that is said against him. I feel that's unfair because would these same people go up to you or me and say, well, I heard that someone said that you raped them, so obviously you did because I don't like your social or your political positions. You're obviously a bad person. You're obviously guilty without any day in court. It's easier to target a celebrity, and that's what Trump is. He is a celebrity. Even if he does become president, he will be a celebrity. That's just the way it is. He's gonna have those same pratfalls that all celebrities have. No matter what he does, it'll be overanalyzed to the max, and you are going to find one little shred of evidence that whatever left-leaning media there is will go after. Because people are going to watch it.
Do I like Donald Trump? I don't hate Donald Trump like a lot of the Republicans do, or the right wing, or whoever. Is he my ideal pick for president? No. And I'd be the first one to say it. I think pretty much everybody that knows me knows that my politics pretty much align a lot with somebody like Rand Paul.
Mm-hmm.
And that's more of who I would gravitate towards.
Mm-hmm.
Just talking to my wife this morning, I said, this election, Donald Trump won the Republican bid, and I mean, he won it fair and square. But it just sucks because, and my whole thing with all of this is one of the reasons why Hillary Clinton becoming our next president is so detrimental to a person like me is there's a seat in the Supreme Court that's open. So the next president gets to name the next Supreme Court justice.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at the age of some of the justices that are in the Supreme Court now, over the course of the next 4 to 8 years, there could be another 3 or 4 that get replaced.
Mm-hmm.
From both sides of the spectrum. Now, do we need Hillary Clinton or somebody like that naming more very extreme left-wing people to the Supreme Court to further push an agenda that completely defies everything that the Constitution of the United States stands for? Absolutely not. So, but at the same time, can you trust Donald Trump? So,
I wouldn't trust him to actually run anything if he did, by the slim chance, win. I figured he would have Pence more or less do his job for him, or he would assign...
There's no way Donald Trump runs anything.
No.
And
no.
That's what a lot of people... a lot of the presidents of the United States anyway, they're not running a lot of stuff. If people know behind the scenes how many aides and how many, officers that they have with them that make a lot of the decisions and do a lot of things and help them create, what they want and the America that they're looking towards, it's not all coming from the President of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
He signs off on it or she signs off on it. And, basically what the President of the United States is really there for is to be the head of America in our foreign affairs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's, to me, one of the biggest problems with President Obama.
Okay.
Is because I think in the foreign market, so to say, America looks like a joke right now. With everything we have going on, I don't know how anybody can take him serious with everything he's done. But at the same time, I don't think somebody like Donald Trump's going to give us a much better, nobody's going to look at us any better with Donald Trump running the country.
No, which is probably why people think Hillary is the safer bet. Which, we are stuck in such a position now that we do not have a good choice.
No. Gary Johnson, for all, it's not going to happen.
No.
And you look at the guys, he's not going to be able to get over his flubs that he's had on national television.
Especially this close to the
showing
election.
that he knows nothing about what's going on in the world.
Right.
And, a part of me is okay with some of that. And I've been someone who, for years and years and years, has said America needs to tell everybody else to fuck off. You don't like us, go fuck yourself.
Mm-hmm.
We won't come help you with anything. You can handle that yourself, this, that, and the other. And that's a lot of ways it is with these countries in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
Having been to Iraq and been put in front of all this and seen the way it is, there's a lot of it there where it's like we need to step back and say, hey, you guys police yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously with ISIS now running amok in the Middle East, we have to do something.
Right.
We can't just wash our hands of it now. And if we're to do that, then we have to give full support to Israel to let them take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I hear my 3-year-old. But uh, I mean, there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of aid and money that we give, billions and billions and billions of dollars that we're giving to these countries that couldn't give two shits about us.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Last time I checked, we're over $19 trillion in debt. Why are we borrowing money from China to give it to somebody that wants nothing to do with us?
Mm-hmm.
Why are we allowing a country like Iran to be able to build a nuclear weapon or to have nuclear capabilities? I mean, essentially, we're telling them, here's billions of dollars from us that we owe you. Fuck them. Don't give them anything. Do as you please.
Right.
And that's okay. And I mean, and the biggest problem is, and one of my problems with the left, if to me, if George Bush had done the exact same thing, I'd have a big ass problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
Obama did it. I still have a big ass problem with it. But a lot of people, and in the right at the same time, if George Bush had done it, they would be okay with it. As is the left sees that Obama did it, so they're okay with it. When people need to get away from the right and the left, so to speak, and you know, no matter what, and you have to look at it as a way as, well, would I have a problem with it if Trump did it, or Clinton did it, or Bush did it, or Clinton did it, or Obama, or Biden, or whoever, and get past the what's not best for the left wing or the right wing, but what's best for the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's the same thing with the Black Lives Matter. You know, do I think some police shootings are justified? Yeah, I think probably most of them are. Does that mean that some of them aren't?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. There's plenty of happenings, you know, all over the country with police officers, with African Americans, with whites, with Hispanics, with whoever, where the police officers are going to be in the wrong. And that's why I fully support that all police officers should wear body cameras.
Yeah.
You know, there's, and then that way, it's all right there.
Mm-hmm.
And under no circumstance whatsoever should that camera ever be turned off.
Right.
So with the amount of money that we spend as a country on just random dumb shit that we waste, it can be going towards things like this that will help our country.
I agree.
And that's something that we need to do, because in the last 8 years, this country has taken a major step back when it comes to race relations.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see how anybody can think anything different. Now, granted, I'm not black. I've never been black. I've never...
I will disagree with a couple years in high school when you thought you were. I have pictures of those fucking jinkos.
Yeah, but, you know, so I don't know what it's like to be viewed as that.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up in a much nicer neighborhood than your average person did. But, you know, I had a side to me that was not always sweet and innocent. No. But, I mean, you know, there comes a point in time where if my own brother were to get arrested by the police and do some dumb shit and get shot up, maybe he should have been listening.
Yeah. Well,
you know,
also our longtime friend is serving a life sentence for armed robbery. And there's no one to blame but him.
Yeah.
He's the one that did it. He had the same opportunities as us, went to the exact same classes, graduated, and he threw his life away within, I think, 4 years after we graduated.
Yeah.
I can't blame anyone but him. I can't really blame people for their situations when they're fully in control of it.
Right. Now, I mean, I do know that, in talking with my wife tonight, with something as simple as the dance class that we have our daughter in, that
Mm-hmm.
we're thinking of pulling her out of, just because we see some of the other kids run around and they act like little shits the whole time,
Mm-hmm.
and the parents there, some of them are like us and they take an active role in their lives, and other ones are just there, and there's a parent bragging about how her two sons are more so the bullies in their daycare, and they're the ones that bite other children and this, that, and the other, and laughing about it like it's funny.
Huh.
And to me, that's trashier than shit.
Yeah.
And being a father with two young daughters, and the youngest, who has now been bitten 7+ times in her daycare, I have a real problem with that. And if I were to hear a parent of the kid that's biting my kid say something like that, I'd probably beat the shit out of them. So, and I mean, and that's it. But that's because I care, and it bugs me to see people not care and not do. Am I the world's greatest father? Hell no. But I mean, I take an active role in my kid's life
Yeah.
and in everything they do. And granted, my wife and I, we work hard for what we have, and we're lucky to have a lot more than a lot of people, so we can afford to send our kids to a nice daycare, to go to dance classes and tumbling classes and all this other shit that I'm really going to love as a father.
I'm in the same boat, I know.
My kids are going to be cheerleaders and shit. Yay, I can't wait. So, but, I mean, a lot of people can't do that, but at the same time, you still have to be there for your kids. And you see other people that are sending their kids to something like that, but they act like trash. And, 3-year-olds are, they see what's going around them. They see other kids acting a certain way. They'll tend to start acting that way.
Yeah.
And that shit doesn't fly in my house.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell my 3-year-old to do something, I expect her to damn do it. She's old enough. My 11-month-old, on the other hand, I kind of get. She doesn't really understand what's going on.
Right.
But when she's 3, you can bet your sweet ass she's going to listen to what I have to say. So, and that's, I mean, I grew up, you have to understand, my parents got divorced.
Mm-hmm.
My mother remarried right after my 3rd birthday. And my stepfather was much older, so my mother is now just turned 63. And my stepfather's going to turn 76 this year. So life was a little bit different. When I grew up, it was ass whippings all the time. So you kind of learn, even for as mischievous as I was and stuff like that, I didn't go around breaking into people's houses and doing illegal shit. I did more being a kid shit.
Yeah.
But you can bet your sweet ass that, I still listen to my parents. And, we may not always agree. We might argue. And, yeah, I say fuck a lot. But, it is what it is. My 3-year-old knows now, and she's probably one of the only people in the Midwest, besides her parents, that say yes, sir, and yes, ma'am to people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because we demand it. So when somebody asks her a question and she has an answer, would you like some more pizza? Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. And if she doesn't, she gets corrected on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where the world is losing a lot of stuff. And, you talk about social justice warriors and, millennials and things like that. It seems like parents nowadays are more worried about being somebody's fucking friend rather than being their parent.
Right.
And in a few years, I give 2 shits if my kids don't like me, if they're well behaved, and if they do what's right. And, because I don't always like my parents.
Well, it's the part of being a parent. It's not a popularity contest. You have to.
Yeah, so.
You're going to take
my kid now, though, when I snap at my kid now and go all psycho on him or whatever, 5 minutes later, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how they're going to learn.
Right. I think that we do fit into the category of millennials. We're still young enough to actually be considered that. Yeah. We understand that being a parent is a really hard job. It's taxing. It's hard on me, and I have a lot more patience than I know you have, knowing you for
Yeah,
as
I
long
don't
as I.
have, and bless my wife, she's a damn saint because she's got the two kids and me
Yeah.
that she has to deal with. So, and yeah, I mean, when it comes to patience, I mean, I have none. And my whole philosophy is when I tell you to do something, I expect it done.
Yeah.
I don't expect to ask twice. And if I have to ask a third time, I'm not going to say it nice
Mm-hmm.
to anybody. I mean, it doesn't matter who I'm talking to in this world. If I have to say something a third time, it's not coming out very nice.
Right.
So, and that's just how it is. And now, do I hurt my little girl's feelings? Yeah, I do. But that's because I'm not a little girl. I don't know what it's like to be a little girl. I mean, granted, I had a sister who was a lot younger than me, but hell, I'll probably hurt her feelings too. So, hi, Katie. But,
Yeah,
but I mean,
Katie
that's
turned
just,
out a lot different than you, and you turned out a lot different than your brothers.
yeah. So, I mean, none of us are alike.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, I have my strengths, but I definitely have a lot of weaknesses. So, but I mean, my kids think about them all the time, love them to death. Can't imagine life without them now.
Mm-hmm.
For as many times as I've said, "Oh, these fucking kids, they drive me nuts." Oh my God, I just need a break. But for it is what it is. But I couldn't imagine anything different now.
Right.
Just like for as much as I absolutely despise living in Illinois where we live,
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine my life any different right now with my kids at their age where we live because we're so close to my wife's family.
Mm-hmm.
We have, I mean, our oldest spends the night at grandma's house at least once a week,
Mm-hmm.
if not twice or three times. Something as simple as the wife and we're off work tomorrow. We're taking off work. We're going to go to Chicago, go to a concert. I love the 90s tour with Coolio and Vanilla Ice and Tone Loc. So we're going to this concert, and I mean, it's like a second thought that the kids go to grandma's house or go to my wife's aunt's house or something, and we go do our thing.
Mm-hmm.
So whereas if we decide to pack up and move anywhere else, that might not be the case. If we move back to Tampa, yeah, we have my stepmom there
Yeah.
who will do, pretty much anything ever. But, I mean, if the wife and I decide to move to Alabama, we're not going to have any support there.
Right.
But, I mean, that's one thing that you have to think about. And to me, when I woke up this morning and went outside and it was 35 degrees, moving to Alabama didn't seem so damn bad.
You're willing to suffer externally that way to have a more cohesive family life.
Yeah, and another 2.5, 3 months when I wake up and go outside and shovel snow in negative 5-degree weather, I'm really going to be saying, Alabama don't seem so bad.
Getting back to the whole parenting thing, I'm really not sure where it is with our generation of people where you and I are much different than other millennials as far as responsibility goes. We don't blame other people for our problems. Even when we were both unemployed at the same time, we didn't sit there like a couple of petty bitches and say, what can the government do for us? We tried to get jobs for months.
We tried to get jobs from everywhere we could, and then decided to do something on our own.
Yeah.
So, I mean, granted, we did a lot of work, and not everybody always paid in timely manners and things like that, but, I mean, we went out and started looking for... Dude, I get mail all the time for that company. Still to this day.
I do. It's actually attached to my Gmail account.
Is it really?
Yeah. So I mean, I get it too.
Hell, I've lived in this house here. This was 7 years ago we did this. I've been in Illinois 6 years. Been at my house that the wife and I bought now for over 4 years. And I get mail at this house for it. Okay.
We didn't even incorporate it or anything. It just... I don't know. I don't know how it got so out there because I think we had what 3 clients.
Yeah.
None of them paid.
Well, we got one for a second, but
Yeah.
the one thing we did, and then nothing else. But then shortly thereafter, I went back doing medical sales. So
Yeah. Then we
you
actually
know,
got
but
we got normal jobs and didn't have to follow the American dream anymore. But I don't
so
get the
much for that being
entitlement.
pro wrestler thing.
Yeah, that died the second we graduated. And we
Man,
realized
I
we're
did
not gonna.
steroids all wrong. Look how skinny I am.
Yeah,
No,
we're not
no
gonna
muscles.
we're not gonna put our health on risk to do steroids to jack ourselves up to go to Dangerous Dan Spivey's wrestling school. That was a pipe dream.
Yeah, but I mean, you grow up. People grow up and they start figuring things out. You know, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, my parents instilled in me that, hey, I mean, even after all these years, I went and finished college and did my thing, what I had to do to better myself. And now with the job that I have and what I do, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only reason I don't like living in Illinois is because I hate winter. You know, I mean, I miss my Florida friends. I miss you. You and I used to hang out on a daily basis. You know, we practically lived together for 6 months, but hung out on a daily basis. I mean, we grew up together
Mm-hmm.
all through high school and things like that. And like you talked about, you and I have, I mean, our backgrounds are so completely different. There's no reason you and I should have ever been friends, much less best friends.
And we weren't
You
friends
know,
at first.
but I mean, it's just like, what are you doing, honey? My 3-year-old, she likes to get out of bed a lot. What's wrong?
Yeah, I have that
Come
problem
say
too.
hi. Come say hi. Say hi to the world. Say hi, world. Hi, world.
Hi, Ansley.
This one at the TV, I just come out of bed, and you guys just tell me, I mean, just read one story.
Oh, you better go ask mom. Daddy's busy. Have a kiss?
Yeah.
Mwah.
It's 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 what being a parent's all about.
No.
But like I
So,
was saying, I don't get the entitlement that a lot of millennials have. I don't get that we need to be handed stuff. We needed to be treated special. We need to be a protected class of people just because we think,
safe space.
God damn, safe space. I don't think any of us would have grown up to be people if we had safe spaces when we were in high school. We needed to be challenged and what our views were. If you and I were in safe spaces and were never allowed to interact with each other because we were such different types of people, we would have never been friends and we would never learn from each other. I don't
Nope.
agree. I don't agree with you all the time. You don't agree with me a lot of the time as far as
Nope.
politics go, but we're still best friends.
Yeah, it doesn't change anything.
No, and we're not at each other's throats saying, "Well, you're not referring to me by my proper whatever pronoun I want to be. You're not
You
calling
see,
me
Your
sir."
Majesty, the guy
That
Your Majesty.
that list I sent you when you said, "What the fuck is this?" I said, "Those are all the genders people think exist right now."
Oh,
To
Jesus.
someone that just lives their life on a daily basis, when they see a list of 20 to 30 different weird ass names, they're gonna look like, I'm not gonna refer to anyone like this unless
Yeah.
they specifically ask me to. It's a him, it's a her. If I'm wrong, correct me on it, but I'm gonna move on. I'm not gonna memorize all these things just because I might accidentally offend someone at some point down the road. Someone that's part of a very small percentage of Americans. I'm not gonna worry. I'm not going to treat everyone like they're so special that I might offend them, so I better just button it all up and treat them like some kind of glass statue that I can't interact with at all because they are so fragile. I don't know how that happened in this country. I don't know where it stems from. I'm at a complete loss.
Yeah, I don't. You got me. I don't know, but I mean, it's the same thing. It's the everybody gets a trophy mentality nowadays. Like when my kids grow up, if they think they're going to get a trophy where they finish last place, they're sorely mistaken. I'm throwing that shit in the garbage.
I got one for soccer, and our team sucked, but my dad got me a trophy, and I was just like, that's great. Now I have this constant reminder that we were so bad that we could not get an actual trophy, so we got a runner-up trophy. We got a thanks for playing these games. You won one. You're never going to do this again.
When you watch the Olympics, there's only gold, silver, and bronze. Anything after that, you lost.
They give you like purple or beige trophies. Hey, you showed up. Here you go. Here's your beige trophy.
That's it. You froze. There you go.
Go home and show that one off. You made it to the Olympics, but you couldn't cut the mustard. I don't get it. But like I was saying about how
it is what it is. I don't know. But see, my whole thing is once you've hit this place, how does it ever change back to what's normal? You know, and I mean, really, what is normal? But we know this shit ain't normal. So
no, but normal is the majority, which I don't want that to come off as very rough. But I mean, when you have a majority of people that are this one way, your society is going to conform to the majority. And both you and I are for gay rights and for gay marriage, even though we're on different sides of the political spectrum. We're not going to belittle people, but at the same time, we're not going to drastically change our lifestyles to match just a few people. We're not going to tear down everything we know or how we act or the vocabulary we use just because we might offend someone. We're not using slurs. We're just referring to people as he and she. But that seems to get you fired from a job. If this very vocal minority hears that and they don't like it, they will go after these people. They'll contact their employers and say, this person is using this this transphobic slur on Twitter. You should fire them because they are not conforming to us. I think that's very un-American. That's very much against what you fought for. You didn't fight to protect freedom so people can get fired just because they think
Dude, I'm missing a lot of this.
Did your audio cut out?
Yeah, you've been freezing up pretty bad, and I missed a lot of it.
It's well, like I said,
with them working on our internet right now, dude. It's not.
Yeah, I'm sure it sucks. Like I was saying, the freedoms that you fought for was not the freedom to fire somebody just because they had a difference of opinion. It wasn't to go out and ruin someone's life just because you don't agree with them socially. That's un-American.
Right.
That is not what America stands for.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's by far, and I mean, there's no way that, my line of thinking for that is anything, whether you're gay, straight, whatever. To me, I mean, one of our really good friends is gay. Mm-hmm. I couldn't give two shits. Like I've told you in the past, I don't care if anybody's gay or straight or whatever. Do I want to be gay? No. I mean, I'm fine the way I am. I like being a white heterosexual male. It's cool.
You do watch a lot of pro wrestling.
You're gay. That's cool. I don't wish any ill to you. So, I mean, my only thing is I don't understand why you have to try and shame somebody that's not. Just like, why does somebody have to shame somebody that is? I mean, it is what it is. Who cares?
Yeah.
To me, if that's what you want to do, sure, life. I don't care. I'm not the creator and the judger of anybody. So, your life, you do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
The only thing that I tell you, and I've said in the past, that bugs me about quote-unquote gay people is, do we really need to have a gay parade where everybody prances around and acts like fucking fairy dust is flying everywhere in thong bikinis and butterfly wings to throw it in somebody's face? No. Because I don't throw my straightness in other people's face. I don't want people going out and flaunting to me everything that they're straight. Just like I don't want people going out and flaunting to me like everything like they're gay. And that's one of the reasons why I have absolutely no problems whatsoever in my relationship ever with Justin. Mm-hmm. Because not once ever has he thrown it in my face or anything. And I still remember to this day vividly the day he came out to me right before we became roommates. And he says, you know, you and I are best of friends. We're like brothers. But I have to tell you something. And I said, what's up? And he says, I'm gay. And I go, no shit.
We do that for a long time.
End of conversation. I don't care. Why would I care? You know, doesn't change my opinion of you one iota.
Mm-hmm.
So, and anybody that would, you know, somebody that you've been friends with for years and years and years, if that would change your opinion of them right then and there, you're a piece of shit as a person.
Mm-hmm. I think that's where people that take their religious morality and they let it cloud their judgment, where they're more worried about something that's written in a book as opposed to the person that's in front of them.
Yeah, and I mean, I try to be a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, there's no probably to it. Definitely not the world's greatest Christian. But I try to live under a code,
mm-hmm.
so to say, to live my life, to raise my children. You know, just like the other night we talked about doing this, but my kid was in her Bible study camp thing that she does every Tuesday. So the timing just didn't really work out that great.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, but it's something that we put her in, and to us it's something that helps them grow and become good people, whether they want to follow the Bible or not. So I know there's a lot of things about religion that, you know, don't make a lot of sense to people. There's a lot of it that has to be in terms of, you know, you have to believe,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a Santa Claus for children, you know. And well, I mean, but it is, you know, you have to believe the magic of the Bible, or the specialness of Jesus Christ and what they can do for you,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And in my sense, you know, I believe in certain things and in certain ways. Like, I don't think that God necessarily would judge me because I didn't go to church every Sunday and give a tithe.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, if I only went to church certain times and whatever, as long as you live your life as a Christian. You know, you don't go around and stealing from people and raping and pillaging and, you know, treating the world like a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
But actually do good in your community, do good in your family, do the right thing, try to be a good person.
Right.
Because, I mean, a lot of people will tell me that I'm one of the biggest dicks they might have ever met. But a lot of people will tell you that I'll give you the shirt off my back without a second thought.
Mm-hmm.
So, and a lot of that is how I perceive you as a person. You know, I'm not as forgiving as some people. You know, if I, you know, we're buddy, friends, girlfriend, whatever, you know, I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. But you fuck me one time, we're done. And that's it.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, and that's how I roll. So that's how I've pretty much always rolled, and that's how I'm sure I'll always roll. I'm 35 years old. I'm not changing now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just how I am. So, you know, when it comes to forgiveness and things like that, David Kyle doesn't forgive. So, and I don't forget either. So, but, you know, is that the best way to live your life? Probably not. And for as many times as I've been a dick or this, that, and the other, nobody can say I'm a bad person.
Right.
So, you know, the stuff like that to me, I don't really care. So.
And I don't really, I don't have a station in life where I can tell you how to live your life. I may not agree with you on religion, but I'm not going to tell you you can't practice your religion. You can't think about it in your own way. And that's kind of where you and I differ on the whole gay pride parade thing. I've been to it. It's a blast, but like you're saying, you don't want them throwing it in your face. It's the same way that I feel that any religious person should not throw their religion in my face.
Yes.
And the reason
I'm same way about religion like that. Yeah.
The reason I bring that up is I was at Citrus Park Mall not that long ago, and I was just I was just walking. I was just getting ready to leave the mall, and these two Israeli guys come up to me, more or less corner me. Skinny guys cornering someone my size, and they just start talking to me about theology. Being a former Christian, I know quite a lot about theology. That's the reason why I'm an atheist. And they're just going on, just trying to like bombard me with all these biblical facts and historical facts, which I'm sitting there countering them with historical facts. And just being like, how can I just diffuse this situation where they're going to realize that I'm not interested in what they're selling or where they want me to go? It just didn't end. They would not stop harassing me even as I'm actively leaving the conversation physically by walking away.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's the way you feel when people throw their sexuality in your face. I feel the same way when people do it with religion. I don't care. I'm not a part of it. Leave me alone. You're not going to convert
And I mean,
me.
and it's not that, and it's not, I feel the same way. Growing up in the South, in the Bible Belt,
Mm-hmm.
My entire family is overly Christian.
Mm-hmm.
To me, or to sometimes it's like, really? Are we really doing all this and saying all this? And to me, I still have questions. I have an uncle who's a preacher.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I have another cousin who works at a Christian college.
Mm-hmm.
And his wife's father is a preacher. And, so this is my whole life, grew up going to church every Sunday. Even in high school, every Sunday. So, but even to me, that it gets ridiculous to me sometimes when people try to throw shit in your face. And it kind of reminds me of the old joke of the preacher was giving mass at church, and 5 masked gunmen walked in with their machine guns and yelled at the church, anybody that's not ready to meet their Lord and Savior Jesus Christ better leave right now. And all but a handful of people mass exited the church like crazy, and the gunmen all sat down and said, okay, preacher, continue, and went on about their way with just a handful of people left that really, really were not afraid to die and meet their maker.
Right.
So, and that's how I feel. I, as a Christian, think a lot of Christians and Christianity and things out there are hypocritical as shit. And that's one of the reasons why some of the stuff they do, I really don't get behind.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same thing. I find it kind of hilarious that, a lot of people on the left treat Christians like psychopaths and then go and talk about Islam and how great it is, or how we're judging them. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That
is, so
it's a weird parallel how the cool thing, or the thing that was going on from the 80s to probably late 90s, was a lot of us were fighting against the moral majority that was the religious right, because they were the ones trying to censor the things we like. But now there's been this monumental shift where it's the far left and the SJWs that want to censor speech because they see it as hateful, and everything that Christianity stands for is horrible, but everything Islam stands for is untouchable because it's been persecuted. Well,
Yeah.
It's been persecuted for a good reason, because the religion is not compatible with Western culture. That doesn't mean the
nor
people
will
that
it
follow
ever.
it are
No,
bad.
yeah, exactly.
But it is not compatible with the way that Christianity has evolved in Western culture at all. Christianity now is much more forgiving than it was maybe 300 years ago. Islam is not. That's why you don't see the level of violence in America that you see, well, not the level of violence, but the type of violence, the extreme religious-based violence. You don't see that in America as much as you do everywhere else where you have a large Islamic base.
Yeah.
Now, and you can't talk about it in America without being branded as an Islamophobe. You can't have an open discussion about, which I'm sure if anyone actually sees this video, even though we don't have a large subscription base yet, you'll have people lambasting you and me about having these horrible views about these people We just want an open discussion about, can this culture integrate well with America? Can it? I don't know if it can. And I don't know if anyone's willing to have that discussion.
You have something. You have water in your ear from earlier. Go talk to mommy. She's got swim ear. Have her put it in your ear. Just wait. Delia's going to be 3 soon.
Yeah.
And let me tell you what a 3-nager is like.
Oh, I think
Because you're going to have to put her to bed one day. Multiple times.
But we kind of have different attitudes, so I don't think our kids will be the same. I'm sure they'll go through the same kind of bratty things. But if my daughter was like you now, I would think I'd pull what remaining hair I have left out of my head.
So, but having been to the Middle East,
yeah,
and having met many Muslims, there's some great ones over there. But there is a radical extremist following that they're getting that is highly dangerous and could do a lot of damage here in the United States. And, we as citizens of the United States and our government need to be paying a lot of attention into what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of like touching up on the emails and things like that. You can't tell me that they know who all the hell's coming over here.
Well, I think Rebel Media had a series about how the Syrian refugees were affecting the schools, the public school system in Canada, and it was interesting. I only caught part 4 of it, but to see how the students just don't care. The Syrian refugee students that are integrating into these classes just don't care about learning. They'll walk out of the class. They'll do things. They might just not know yet that it's inappropriate in this Western culture not to do these sort of things. There might be a learning curve for the children, but the adults, I don't know if you can reprogram adults into Western culture that have grown up in Syria. I don't know if you can break that to be Westernized. I don't know if it's possible.
But at the same time, look at us. Could we just go to somewhere in the Middle East and just integrate into their society? It's not happening.
No, I stuck out like a sore thumb as a civilian, but you had a different experience being in the Army. I mean, you're there as a representative of the United States, so you have a different experience dealing with them than I did as a civilian. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure we saw two totally different sides of the coin.
Oh yeah. So, well, with that being said, we're going to have to continue this next week.
No, I appreciate your time sitting down with me in the middle of night time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to deal with it too.
Yeah, it's always something getting a 3-year-old to bed. You got to do it. You got to do it about 6-7 times before they go to bed.
All right, man. I appreciate your time. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, we'll talk
later.
See ya.